Welcome and thanks for taking time to consider setting up an adult education class using this system. You'll notice that I have promised that you can get into this setup for under $200 for the most basic setup possible. Like anything else, you can of course spend more and get a better quality, but for the minimal amount you can have a perfectly acceptable multimedia experience. We're going to see how you can set up your basic adult education classroom for a multimedia presentation on a budget. I'm going to make some assumptions. The first is that you have a class or meeting room in a building where there is no available internet services. Basically, don't worry, we can get you set up within the budget proposed. We can use either of two principal routes. The first is a projector and screen. And by the way, the projector frankly works just as well on a light colored wall as with a screen. And the second is a small LED TV. But using either a TV or a projector, you can conduct your class using a laptop, an iPad, a smartphone, which includes iPhones and Androids, for use during the classroom period. In the class that I conduct, which is set up, the only thing I bring to class, frankly, is an iPhone, which has the PowerPoint preloaded. The trick here, of course, is to do this in a room without an expensive multimedia setup, and we're going to show just how to do that. Okay, like most things in life, a TV is something you can spend a lot on or a little. In fact, you may already have a TV that will meet these requirements and will work perfectly well. The particular TV shown on this screen, like all available today, has a number of different ways to connect, but again, we are assuming that your church or class location has only a room and a table with no internet. In those conditions, you can still do a good adult education class within budget using the TV shown here and the other items we're going to talk about a little bit less. The the TV you see here is a 32-inch TV set, which you can get either at the local big box store or from Amazon for less than $160. In the room that we have our class set up in, we're using a 50-inch TV set mounted on the wall, but for purposes of this class, this whole thing works just as well if you have a smallish room with a table to set the TV on. If you have a conference table, you can set it up at the end of the conference table and have people sit around. In fact, with the smaller TV sets, it does make it easier for those folks to see and read the type if they're a little closer to the TV set. All current TV sets come with these, but you want to make sure you have an HDMI plug and an available USB plug. This is to allow the item we're going to talk about later that lets you wirelessly broadcast to hook up and have power. What you have here is an example of a very basic model of LED projector you can find on Amazon, and I've just recopied an Amazon ad in here, or at a big box electronics store. This particular one actually does have the Bluetooth connection built into it, but as we're sort of assuming basic equipment, we're also going to talk about just after this the device that allows you to do this Bluetooth connectivity, again, even on the most simple ones. These super cheap projectors range in price between $75 and $120. Now, the caution with these is the brightness. The real measure of brightness is in something called ANSI lumens, spelled ANSI. And if you've seen a good Epson projector at 3000 ANSI lumens, it will show a good, bright, clear picture in a fully lit room. The projectors we're talking about here cost a lot less, and they work very well, but the room will need to be darkened. When you look at the projector advertisements, they all have really high numbers, but generally the projector is not nearly that bright because they're not the official measures. They are whatever measure that particular company has come up with. I've tried several in this class and they all work pretty well. Uh, the room needs to be darkish with the blinds drawn, and they work pretty well on a lightly colored wall. Uh, Again, I talk about screens, but I've never really used one in the class. I generally just pick a blank wall that's light colored. If after you start and you like the class and want to do it more, and you want a better projector, a Epson projector at reasonable brightness will cost between $350 and $600. Many churches already have these. Again, we're just assuming that your church has the most basic setup possible. The screens can be portable. Sometimes they're mounted on the ceiling. Uh, we have one like that as well at our church. But frankly, as I say, I've had the best luck just projecting on a light colored wall. As a matter of fact, the first year I did this class using PowerPoint, that's what I used was a light colored wall and a low powered projector. Keep in mind when you're dealing with these projectors that they are basically work just like a TV set, except instead of showing on a screen, they project on a wall. I do have one caution for them, and it sometimes is not adequately stated in the packaging. Don't ever just unplug it when you're done. You need to use the off button, and the reason is they all have a little cool down routine to allow the bulb to cool, which will greatly increase your bulb's life, which of course you want to do. Okay, this is the Anycast M100, which is the device that sort of ties this whole project together. Whether you use a TV or a projector, this lets you get the lesson materials in front of the class from out of your laptop, tablet, iPad, iPhone, or Android smartphone. Unlike the TV or projector, which you can, select any one you want, in this case, you need to get this exact unit that I'm showing here on Amazon and others, not any others. I've tried several of these things with mixed results. I have this particular one. Actually, I have several of them that I've given to other people. They are easy to use and they can hook just about any Bluetooth device uh, and to project your PowerPoint, and they're easy to do it and very reliable. The advantage again with this ease and reliability is that you get to spend your class talking about the lessons and not fiddling with the technology. And once you become more adept at it, it's like anything else, it's easier. In the particular class that I use, we actually use an Apple TV, but that alone costs more than the $200 budget that we're talking about. And this device works not only with iPhones, but other smartphones, with almost any computer that has a Bluetooth connection, and with almost any Android telephone that you might have, on which you can, again, download the PowerPoint ahead of time. Frankly, if you start on a Monday using Amazon, you can have all this stuff in your hands by Wednesday, and by the following Sunday, you'll be a pro, of course, I hope, based on this the lessons that are here. This is a little more detailed picture than you get from the ad on the previous slide. It just shows the box with the contents all taken out. There's a video that follows here that goes into great detail. As a matter of fact, it shows opening a new box and going from there and through the hookup routine. Again, this device costs again less than $30, and while it has lots and lots of other features, in our case, it will get you from you get your PowerPoint once it's downloaded on your phone or your tablet, and allow you to present that to your class easily and without hassles. So without that, let's get down to the connection procedures. Okay, we're going to talk today about how to set up this Anycast in order to make a broadcast of your PowerPoint. There are lots of other things that this particular device will do. It's
Anycast M100. But what we're specifically going to talk about today is how to make it do a PowerPoint for your Sunday school lesson. So here is the box. This is a new one that I bought just so I could do a complete opening online so you can see everything you need to see to get it open. There's the actual device. And these are the instructions. And these are the cables that come. It's very easy to set up. You'll see there are two ends there. This device is the antenna. You assemble it like this. That goes into the back of this. Now it's set up. Now, the way you attach it to this projector, and frankly this will work for any projector or TV because the connections are very similar, is this is the HDMI. You find the HDMI, you plug have to sometimes check and see exactly which way it faces. Plug it into the back like that, and then this is the USB, and you'll see once you plug that in, that's the actual power. On this particular device, you have a source search, which we're going to search. It's found the HDMI. Okay. Now that's, you can see, is the picture that's come on. And if you'll look at the top, you'll see the SSID is Anycast BF93 D47B. Here's how you hook this thing up. Okay. Now you can see the projector has accepted the device, and you can see Anycast. Of course, that's it. We're going to hook it up to this iPhone, which I'm going to hold right here so you can see exactly what happens. My granddaughter's. Now it's identified me. So we go to Settings. Go to Wi-Fi. Now you'll notice that one of the networks you have a choice of is Anycast. You press that. Now comes the only tricky part here. You see it says the password. The password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to put that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And hit join. Okay, now your iPhone and the device are on the same network. So you swipe down, look on your iPhone, go to screen mirroring, press the mirror. You see that's the device right there. Touch that. And as you see on the screen behind there, it is now showing whatever's on my iPhone screen. I have previously called up the PowerPoint so that we can make our point completely. There's the PowerPoint. There's the PowerPoint as it appears on your screen, and then that's the little icon that makes it go into presentation mode. Now you can see that my iPhone is controlling this device. So the only thing you need to take with you, other than the projector, which will already be there ready for you, very likely, is your iPhone. And then the way you end the presentation when you're done, this particular one is 40 slides long. Let's see if it has any artwork. Ah, there we go. Some nice artwork. Is you exit out. Then you go, and the way you find this screen is just however you go to find your flashlight. That will bring up this menu. Go to Anycast and you say stop mirroring, and see the devices have now uncoupled. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to hook up your Windows computer to this device. This will work with this particular device that I have here is a Windows Surface device, but it will work with any Bluetooth enabled laptop or Surface and or most tablets, but this particular one is a Windows, and that's what I want to show. If you will see, the unit is already hooked up, as you've seen. I've put this, try to put it so you can see both the screen on the computer and the back of the projector and what's on the projection. So here's how this works. You look on your computer keyboard for Windows and you'll see the little Windows icon. Press that and P, and you'll see this selection comes up. You go down and pick connect to a wireless display, and you can see the Bluetooth device, the Anycast, shows up there. It's the same one that's up above. Click on that. And you can see it connected literally on its own. You can see the cursor moving around. So here we go, and I've now pulled my PowerPoint up. You can see it on there. You go to slideshow. Now you can see that the slideshow is being projected from this computer to the projector. This same setup would work if you had plugged this Anycast device into the back of a TV using the HDMI and USB port that you found there. As you see, you can show the PowerPoint clear through. If you were doing this for a class as opposed to just learning how to hook up the devices, you'd pull the projector back so that it filled the screen to make it as large as possible. Same thing with the TV set. And the way you end the program is like any Windows program. You go up and hit X, it goes out of that back to here. And the way you stop the connection, again, other than just turning the computer off, again, you press Window and P. And you see it comes up with those alternatives. You go over here to the Windows display. Now you'll see the Anycast device is displayed up there, and it also tells you that we've set to duplicate the screen. And you just hit disconnect, watch the screen behind. It's now, and that's the what comes up for just the device. Again, this particular Anycast device will do lots of things. We're only concerned today about its ability to shoot a PowerPoint. You will see that what's on the screen are instructions for doing for all sorts, several different kinds of hookups, and also on the screen is a one of those scan blocks that will take you to any apps that you need from this program. But you don't need any of those apps, anything other than a Bluetooth enabled Windows laptop, and that has the a version of PowerPoint on it, again, that is for the most part available free. It's easy to do.
This video will show exactly how to hook up the Anycast to the TV. You can see there the second plug-in is the HDMI, the trapezoid shaped one. You plug the unit in, make sure it's good and snug. Now the next is the USB. Remember, the USB is just the power, and that's the plug-in just above. This particular set just has one HDMI hookup. Others may have more than one, but you need to keep in mind which one you've hooked up to. Now, see, the USB is in and secure. That's the power, and the unit is now hooked into the TV set. The next thing to keep in mind is that you go into the TV and use its remote to pick that HDMI slot as the input for the TV set so that it will show what's coming in through that device. Now that's how you hook up a TV. It's very similar, as you can see, to what goes on with the projector, uh, but I thought it might be instructional to see exactly what it looks like on the back of the TV. Okay, now you've done it. You have your iPhone projecting to the TV and you're ready to present a PowerPoint for a class. The one I used was on the lectionary, but there are lots of other choices available on the website. Probably you're aware that this Anycast unit and your phone, computers and tablets, it has lots of capabilities, but only wanted to focus on just the ones you need to get your class going. This note, every now and again, something will happen and the screen will stop projecting in the middle, always inconvenient. All machines do this from time to time. When it happens, just go back through the steps to connect. If that doesn't work, I've noticed as a sort of last resort, sometimes I have to turn my iPhone off, let it go off, and then turn it back on. That generally will resolve the problem. Then you can hook back up. It's inconvenient when a class is going on, but it only takes a few minutes and you can sort of vamp while you do it. Generally, that's not necessary. I've only had it happen once or twice in class, but just to let you know. Okay, now it's time to move on to the next video about how you actually put on the class.